Welcome back to Uplink. I'm Andrew Hamilton.
Royden Ogletree.
Ogletree, he is. We are coming to you live from respective places, both of us separated by the sands of time and responsibility. Today, you'll be joining us on our journey through some of the week's top news stories for the gaming industry. Starting with how awful video gamers are.
Fun fact, all terrible. Every single one of them. We're all bad people.
As a gamer, let me tell you, you're all the worst. All right, obviously that's not entirely true, but it started this last week with a lot of vitriol being thrown in the direction of the team over at Sony Santa Monica, who's been working tirelessly on God of War Ragnarok, a game that was announced a while back, got a release window for 2022. So everyone's been like, when's it coming out? When's it coming out? It didn't come out at the beginning of the year. We're in the summer, so it's not coming out in summer. So, people are getting antsy. A lot of games have been delayed this year. We got Starfield delayed. We got Final Fantasy 16 got delayed. Forspoken got delayed. We'll get more to that soon. People really hoping that God of War is for sure coming this year. So the natural next course of action there, when you're a fan and you're excited about something, is to start sending pictures of your genitals to members of the team saying, release the release date, please.
Obviously, you say that in jest.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Guys, I shouldn't have to say that, but don't do that. What?
Also, what kind of
why?
I mean, obviously, it's like unsolicited, so it's a crime, but it's also like, how is that some sort of own to somebody else? Like, here is a picture of myself.
You want to see my penis, but now you have seen my penis. Like, it's not good.
Yeah, it is a weird thing and it feels kind of like a self-own too.
Yeah.
To be like, yeah, here's everything. Here, I'm bearing all to you because I'm mad. Why? What is
the thing I do to punish people when I'm upset is show them my genitals.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the worst possible thing that could happen to them.
It's the worst thing. Nothing else can compare on the planet to me.
I don't send death threats. I send my penis every time. Like that's, I mean, that's, you're right. It is absolutely a cell phone. Obviously, there were also some death threats sent out with the games or the team's director coming out, Cory Barlog, kind of just getting in the comment section, reminding people, hey, it'll be ready when it's ready. And we won't announce it until it's ready because that's what we want to do. We want to put out a good game. If you want a good game, you're going to be patient. We're not holding out on you. We're not trying to spite you. No one's trying to trick you. I saw fans in the comment section accusing them of false hype, where they were like, they would tweet out a picture or a trailer from earlier in the year and say when Ragnarok's coming, but and you can feel it in your bones or whatever, and then everyone would be like, oh, false hype, because they haven't announced the release date, so it must not be a real game. Like,
why would the last game was one of the most popular games of all time?
Yeah, it was many people's game of the year, mine included.
Yeah, so why would the people that made that game want to, I don't know, put down an audience that made them all very popular and a lot of people very rich? So I don't know
exactly. Like, what? I don't understand this weird notion that somehow developers are out to get you. For one, developers are way down on the totem pole of people who get to make the decisions. Release dates aren't normally even made by the people making the game. They're normally done or set by either the publisher or the head of the studio, who will decide based on how ready he thinks the game is when it's going to come out. Cory Barlog has been through a lot of stuff. He's done a lot of games. He's one of my favorite game developers out there just because of his personality and stuff. He loves this series as a baby, but he also knows that good games take time. If you want this game to be good, waiting is the best thing for you. And you're going to be glad you waited, because guess what? They did announce the release date, not because of the vitriol, but because the game is finally in a place where they were ready to.
It's in November?
Yeah, November 9th, 2022. Ragnarok is coming. I'm so excited.
I'm very excited. The problem, and he has the
I've been ready for a while.
Right.
I'll be honest with you.
The problem with announcing games inherent is that, and for like movies and other forms of media, it's sort of less so, like, because it feels like the
Marvel and Star Wars.
Yeah, except for Marvel and Star Wars, but Star Wars is bad because nobody hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. But
can confirm
I think the problem inherent with announcing video game releases, they're not, like, the people that make them are less accessible maybe than like we feel like these movie stars are. But we also a lot of people try to treat these people like real people, where they're like just a dude that you could go talk to on the street, because all he's doing is developing games. You know, he's not making art or anything like that.
I mean, they don't even treat them like people. They treat them like they're just a person, or like a digital entity.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Like a computer algorithm or something like that.
Like
make my game.
Some corporate businessman out to steal your dollars so that they can provide you with meager entertainment, which is just not the case.
And like, people don't have loyalty to the studios. People have loyalty to the product that they put out.
Right.
And so it's like, where is my product? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas people with musicians, like, if they don't put an album out and it's like, oh, the album's been delayed, they're like, oh, it's, stay strong, King, and get your album out. But the problem inherent with announcing now video games, like, oh, it's coming out, they announce it at the start of the year or even a year in advance, like in 2021, they'll announce that it comes out
way before then.
It's coming out in 2022. So when the calendar hits 2022, people are like, hey man, where's my thing?
Yeah.
And where's my Diet Dr. Kelp?
Where's my drink?
Yeah.
My Diet Dr. Kelp. Where's my drink?
My drink. And that's why people, like, they get so worked up into a froth that, like, they work themselves up into a shoot that, like, they expect this thing because it was announced and there's a timestamp on it that was released on a trailer, and it's just not.
It's a window.
It's not how it works with games, especially, and less so with other forms of mass media.
Games are hard to make. They take a lot of time, and I think the worst thing that can happen to a game studio right now is to have your game announced before you're even ready to show the alpha footage.
Gotta stop, because
look, I'm calling out EA and Ubisoft on this. You guys are bad about it. Stop announcing your stuff before your people are ready to talk about it. I did not need to know that there was going to be another Mass Effect game 5 years before they were ready to do the Mass Effect game. I didn't need to know that Elder Scrolls 6 was coming 15 years before it's coming. I don't need to know that Fallout 5 is going to happen. I just kind of assumed it would eventually, but like, announcing it 30 years before it comes out is insane, which is, naturally when it will come out 30 years from now.
Right. Well, it's not good for you. Like, I know they want to, like, remember we're still here sort of thing, but
they want the accolades to be awarded to, most hyped at E3, best game, things that they can put on trailers in the future, which is how the industry used to work. But now people carry this entitlement of expectation where once it's been announced, that's a promise. You now promised me, you said you were going to come to my birthday party and bring Kratos with you. Like, it's that level for a lot of people where they just feel entitled to whatever's announced based on the fact that it was announced.
Right. Well, I mean, they kind of got what they asked for. They released the release.
I believe in you.
Yeah, I got there. So they did that. It comes out in November.
It 9th? Looks amazing. Yeah, November 9th. It's on a Wednesday, Odin's Day. But
and they also released another cinematic trailer.
Yeah, new 30-second cinematic trailer talking about the father-son dynamic. We got kind of a look at Fenrir, the big wolf, and they also announced a few different editions of the game. There's the launch day edition, which comes with the pre-order bonus armor, the digital deluxe edition, which comes with a PS4 theme, a couple of avatars, and the game soundtrack, as well as a couple of pieces of exclusive armor. Then 2 collector's editions, the Jotun edition and the oh man, now I just blanked on what the other edition was, but the collector's edition,
Kratos edition, probably.
Sure, yeah, the Kratos edition. Look, check the links in the description for the PlayStation blog post about that. But both of the collector's editions, interestingly, have full size replicas of Mjolnir in them, which is pretty rad.
Ryan Hurst did the video along with Ryan Hurst, who's playing, who you may know from a few things, namely I know from like Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
And he was also in a lot of Sons of Anarchy, like 50 episodes of Sons of Anarchy. But it was so funny to see the dude from like Remember the Titans, now way older, but just in there. And he's like, oh, so this is what comes with your video game. And he never has like acted in a video game before. So it's like,
he's excited about it though.
He was excited about it. And he was like genuinely really interacting with what comes in those boxes. But it is funny to see like a Hollywood actor be like, yeah, here's the stuff.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I know what all this is.
All these dice and everything.
Definitely put that on my shelf.
Yeah.
So cool. Look, yeah, they're actors. They do the best they can.
Oh, they get paid for the promotion too, and he wants people to buy the game. But it is funny to me. It was a funny video to me.
Yeah, and so I'm super hyped. I got the collector's edition of the first God of War. It's sitting back. The statue from it is sitting on the shelf behind me, along with the steelbook. Obviously, I'm a huge fan. I'm very excited to continue my adventures with Kratos and Atreus. But as all things in nature go, there is the law of equivalent exchange. So we gained a release date for a game that's coming out this year, which pushed one of the games that was coming out this year to next year. That's not really the reason, but that's how I view it. Forspoken,
yeah, that's how that works.
Forspoken has been delayed for a second time, this time to January 23rd of next year. They say that due to ongoing conflicts with COVID and political issues across the planet, the landscape has become very difficult to navigate. So they're working with partners to continue development of the game. That's one that I was really looking forward to kind of round out my year. I'm gonna do a video later this week with our coworker Robbie about our game of the year so far and what's kind of disappointed us. But despite all the great games that came out this year, I haven't really felt that, like, the excitement for games has very quickly hit me and then faded away very quickly.
There hasn't been a super lasting,
like, Horizon was great.
Right. I mean, I played through Horizon like it was like my job, which I guess kind of it hit, but like
we'll count it. You work with us.
Right. But I played through Horizon like it was like my job, but I just love that game. But yeah, it didn't stick with me. Now I still have, when you go back and look at it, I completed the story, but there's still like 30 hours of that game that I have left to play.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like side content and stuff. But yeah, that was great. Sifu was great. I loved Sifu at the beginning of the year.
I mean, the game of the year is Elden Ring, which admittedly I didn't play through because I don't want to have a bad time. But
I tried to love it, guys, but that kind of game design isn't for me. It doesn't work for me. I found it frustrating. I enjoyed some of my time with it, but not a lot of it. And I get where a lot of people are coming from, but I already know what my game of the year is because it just got its release day announced. So when that game comes out, that'll probably be my game of the year. If I'm being completely honest with you guys, I'm probably already going to pick God of War just because of the investment I have in it. I know that the quality is going to be there. The writing is going to be there. The story is it's going to hit. If it doesn't, I'm going to be very sad. I'll be honest, whenever I do my review, if it's a bad story, it's a bad story. I'll take my lumps. But my prediction right now is that God of War is going to take it for me.
Right. Yeah. So it will. Yeah, there hasn't been a game narratively, I'll say, that is really withstood the test of time this year, or at least caused. I mean, Elden Ring had the most memes of anything else on the entire planet, and it had its run. But as far as like pop culture wise, the lasting impact so far this year, nothing's really like burned its way into the zeitgeist.
A
You know
lot
what
of
I mean?
sevens, a lot of eights. Not really a whole lot of nines or tens for me out of the year. I think I've enjoyed quite a few games. Now, granted, I'll be honest, I haven't played everything. You guys know I try to play as much as I can, but being one of like 4 people that do reviews for this channel,
He's a father
uh,
of 2. Okay, cut
yeah,
him
and
some
I got 2
slack.
kids and a family that wants to see me sometimes. So I do the best I can to try to play everything, but I haven't played everything there. But I just haven't had a lot of games that really like scooped me up and kept me in. Which sucks because it sounds like Rockstar could have delivered on that for me. You like that segue? Does that work?
Yeah,
I thought it was excellent.
that's fine.
Yeah, look, we'll just count it. Can we insert a better segue here? All right, thank you.
Yeah.
That I was talking to myself. I'm gonna edit this. So we found out this week that Rockstar reportedly canceled both a Red Dead Redemption and a GTA 4 remaster after the backlash from the GTA trilogy remaster, which is interesting. Now, their official like wording on this from the report is that they canceled those to focus in on GTA 6, which is an interesting way to say we messed up real bad and didn't do a good enough job with the GTA trilogy. So we're not going to be trying that again because you guys tried to call us on it and made us refund the game a bunch.
Yeah, a studio historically that is like given 2 middle fingers to its player base and be like been like, you know what, we'll announce a game when we're gonna announce a game, and we're
Yeah.
gonna like, whatever, we're gonna withhold information as like they don't care, and we're gonna keep pumping out the same GTA 5 for forever. They don't, yeah.
Yeah.
So they tried this, and you know what? Good. Thank you.
See, for me, I'm like,
I did not need Red Dead Redemption. Would have been cool to see remastered. I think it's a very fun game. Like, it wouldn't be anywhere close to what Red Dead Redemption 2 is.
yeah,
But the make another Grand Theft Auto.
yeah,
Make another Grand Theft Auto. We cannot keep, we've harped on this for episodes and episodes. We cannot keep, I got the first Grand Theft Auto on Xbox 360, Grand Theft Auto 5 on Xbox 360. What are we doing, guys?
it's PS5 and Xbox One or Series X now. We're still putting out GTA 5s.
Stop. Make a GTA 6. That is what everyone is asking for. Literally.
Well, they've been working on it for a while, but I don't think that the problem here is that because the reason the GTA trilogy was so bad is because
I didn't even download it. I saw the gameplay. I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah, so it used a combination of the 2 ports that exist for those 3 games. It used the Xbox and Xbox 360 versions, and then the mobile versions, which had updated like controls and some updated visuals, and they kind of like meshed them together, and it just didn't work. That being said, the exact opposite thing that I wanted to hear from them was that they were going to backtrack and stop doing remasters, because that's not what we said. We said do better with the remasters. Look, I don't need a fully redone Red Dead Redemption, but I do want to be able to play it on modern consoles with the modern resolutions available to me. So even if it's a direct port with just up-res textures, give me that at least, because this idea that I even if they focus whole hog on GTA 6, we're still looking at 3 to 4 years before that game's out. So they're just not going to release anything other than more. We're going to get more GTA 5 content is what we're going to get out of this.
Not for me. I mean, not
yeah,
for
exactly.
me.
We're not getting it, but that's what they're going to put out.
Yeah.
And I would rather them have some side projects that, allow me to play the whole Red Dead Redemption series uh on the same console, or allow me, and I know there's backwards compatibility, but it's not quite the same. I I want to be able to have that full continuous experience with those two games.
What was the first one in that series?
Red Dead Revolver, which was made
Revo-
by a different developer that 2K bought,
yeah, which is kind of funny because I
or
remember,
Take Two.
yeah, I remember actually playing that game, but and remember
Mhm.
kind of liking it, but it's not well regarded.
No,
But
it's okay. It's not. It's
I
not great. It's okay.
right, I would like to play it. Like, don't get me wrong, I would like to play a remaster, like I said, of Red Dead Redemption. Mostly because of the first time I played it, I was 13 or whatever.
Right.
But uh and and I'm glad that they're not like a studio that, because they put out masterpieces. Now what they do is they the full length games that they put out are masterpieces, and they're an insane studio by the likes of which I don't think anybody has really been able to replicate what all that they put in their games.
Yeah. I mean,
How,
the amount of content and
yeah,
attention to detail.
yeah. And now people expect every time that they put out a new game, uh, a new fully realized game, not a remake or a remaster, that it's going to break some sort of ground. Kind of like Red Dead Redemption 2 did.
Right.
And like the last GTA did when it first was released. But so I'm glad for that. And also it is sort of a downfall of, oh, I want these great studios to put out more content. It's the give and the take that we were talking about earlier. It's
Right.
like, I want my content, I want my sweet, sweet content, but also it'd be cool if you made another groundbreaking game that I'll play
Yeah.
for
Well, and
like 3 years. You
it's
know
not
what I
like
mean?
they have like one studio. They're not a single studio company. They have several studios that they could have making these remasters, while the main studio focuses on GTA 6. So I'm I don't know. It just it's like the whole legacy franchise kind of thing. Okay, so you're not giving me a new entry in this series. Can I at least play like an up-resed version of the older one? Can you at least give me a way to access that old media that maybe I don't have a PS3, or I don't have a solid internet connection to be able to buy or to stream it through PS Plus, or uh play it on Xbox Game Pass or whatever, So can you at least give me a way to play that? And it's just a weird spot to be in.
Yeah. I don't
And
know. Maybe I'm in the minority.
I mean, you're probably in the
I
majority of people who just don't care about whether or not we
I
get
don't
new
care about
things.
it if we get like a San Andreas remake. Like, it was great and fun when we had it,
Yeah,
but like, unless you rebuild it from the ground up, like we were talking about last week, like they did with like Tony Hawk or whatever,
yeah,
and made it just almost a completely new game, but with like the familiarity of the maps and stuff,
right,
then it's not worth playing.
right. And
To me personally,
yeah,
because it just does not work. Like, you go back and you play some of the, like we were talking about on the PlayStation originals, it, it doesn't work. It just doesn't play. It
yeah.
doesn't feel right.
Well, and I feel like part of that is like there are studios who specialize in this particular aspect of game development, and I think it's a good idea for like every company, like realistically every company in the world should have a dedicated developer on their team whose sole job it is to update, remaster, and re-release, arguably not at full price, but
Yeah, please
uh
don't do that.
I mean, please, yeah, please, not at full price most of the time, but re-release and remaster these older titles so that, for one, we don't lose them to the sands of time. Two, we're not stuck playing the same archaic relic over and over and over again, released on modern consoles, but now with frustrating old controls and stuff. And three, because that's how you keep your IP alive. I mean, like realistically, if you're not busy producing new stuff in it, it's okay to just say, "Hey, let's get a quick and easy, like get the 2 previous Infamous games before Infamous Second Son out on a remaster, release it for $30. That's an easy like money grab for you, a way to quell the fans while they wait for the next entry, and a way to like keep that franchise in the public eye. And it's just crazy to me that so many developers are either afraid of the backlash of what re-releasing the game looks like, I guess, or that they don't care about preserving it. They want you to focus on what's next. But I think you can have both. We actually wasn't on our itinerary, but we actually just heard an official response from Sucker Punch last week about how they currently are wholeheartedly focused on their current next project, which we've all pretty much guessed is Ghost of Tsushima 2. And so there are currently no plans to revitalize or produce or remaster any new stuff in the franchises for Infamous or Sly Cooper. And while that's great for Ghost of Tsushima, which I have spoken my love for that game many, many times.
So fun.
It's such a good game. But so were the Infamous games. Infamous Second Son is one of my all-time favorite PlayStation exclusives. The Sly Cooper games are super fun platformers with tons of fun puzzles to solve. Is it important to me that Sly Cooper gets remastered? Not really. But Infamous is a franchise I'd love to see more entries in. So it just kind of sucks that there's not like a modern way to keep up with these older titles.
Well, it's hard. It's the hardest mass media platform or outlet to produce.
Yeah, and I certainly don't want it to sound like I'm saying that porting or remastering things is easy. I know it's not.
Right. It's not like, because it takes so many people. It's not like a kid in his basement can make beats and sell them, you know what I mean? Or rap over them and become popular all of a sudden, or play the guitar and like all of a sudden they have made it big. Somebody can go and film stuff with their iPhone now and like make a movie that they could sell at South by Southwest.
Right.
But video games, it's one of the few things that like, one of the few mass medias that truly you need the team. Like you will eventually have to have a team to do all those other forms of mass media. But like, this is one is like, I can't do this on my own because it would literally be impossible and we would never get the thing. So yeah, it's tough because we talk in circles, but it you want the thing, give me the thing.
Yeah.
Oh wait, not like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, obviously I'd want them to be careful if they were doing it. It's I don't know. We got 1,000 remasters of Skyrim, 1,000 ports of that game. We've seen like the first Mario game re-released in every capacity every time.
Right.
But there are like hundreds of other titles just as deserving of that kind of love. And it's like, if you're willing to, have resources there for that, why not spread them out a little bit, get some franchises that you own that are dormant that you could revitalize a little bit. Again, where's my Gex remaster?
We're the one show on the internet that has talked about Gex in the last 30 years.
I don't know if that's true. I hope that there's secretly a Gex army. # Gex army out there.
# Gex army. Oh my god. What
release
was
the Gex cut?
Ugh. That doesn't sound right.
I don't like it.
Xbox is going to be the only console that turns a profit in 2022.
So yeah, based solely on like console sales, currently Xbox is the only one that's most readily available. I was at a Walmart yesterday and there was a Series X and like 5 Series S's currently sitting on the shelf. So they're not in such high demand that they are selling out super quickly.
But it's constant.
But there is a consistency to the sales that the PlayStation 5 and even the Nintendo Switch can't quite match. Now, I think part of the reason that Nintendo Switch isn't seeing continued console sales is because most everyone who has a Switch and wanted one already has one.
Yeah, and it's a couple of generations old, or not a couple of generations,
Well,
but it's like
it's still technically
like
part of this generation, but it's not. Nintendo never follows suit with everyone else. Like when the next generation of consoles launch, Nintendo will probably still be
5 years from then it'll be the
so
next thing.
they don't they do their own console generations. They have their own cycle.
I know a lot of people talk about this, take or leave the Switch, but like I genuinely love that system.
Yeah, I mean it's a great system. We use it all the time up here.
And I think though that's what they know what they made too, where it's like, okay, with the GameCube or maybe, and they sat on a long time on the Wii, but like with those two, they're like, all right, maybe we got to have something in the works here here in a little bit. Or especially after the GameCube, they're like, we got to have something in the works. And then they made the Wii not too long after.
And the Wii U was the worst mistake they ever made. And they brought it back with the Switch. So yeah, I mean, they just follow their own kind of beating drum, if you will, and do whatever the hell they want. But yeah, so like year to date, Xbox is the one that's looking to be able to take a profit. Now the whole industry, like across the board, is kind of suffering right now because you'll hear the term a lot. Like if you go and look up like the statistics for the economy on gaming, that gaming as a industry is somehow recession proof, and that is not true. And it never has been, and it's a lie circulated by upper management at developers and publishers to satiate investors. Year-to-date spending across the gaming industry is expected to drop by to about 8.7% of what it was last year. So we're looking at a pretty significant decrease in the spendability or in the spending across the entire industry. So it's not just Microsoft is winning big or something out there. There's
it's all down. I would be interested to see what those numbers were like in 2008, 9, 10, when everything sucked. I mean, not like everything doesn't suck now, but like when everything, like we knew that everything super sucked back then.
Right.
I'd like to see, that'd be interesting to see those numbers too, and what the kind of curve was on that, because I remember everybody was still playing Xbox and Guitar Hero and everything else. It's like the memes of playing Guitar Hero while my mom and dad yell at each other in the other room about the house. That's pretty accurate. The thing, when the cost of games went up just this year, was pretty shocking, because for a long time most games had been in the plus tax $55 to $65 range. When I started paying standard edition, when I started paying $70 to $75 for a standard edition game, I was like, all right, what happened? Because how did money is fake, but the thing, it is so funny to just be like, the cost of everything's going up, so now we're just going to increase the cost of video games. It's like, what?
I mean,
somebody smarter than me is going to be like, well, actually, but like, man, that's so stupid, because it was like,
and
it had been $50 since like 2008.
Right.
And then all of a sudden,
when you think, well, it actually been $50 for a lot longer than that, because when you think about how crazy it is, like, I don't think I've seen a product with a more consistent pay grade than video games.
Right.
Because like going back, we had the $59.99 price tag for video games since the early like 90s, maybe late 80s. Where we just kept going on that for so long, while development costs skyrocketed, the cost of the game output remained this completely stagnant for years, which is what led to the creation of like collector's editions and stuff. That was a way to bolster extra profits. But now collector's editions in years past haven't been selling as well. So, I mean, I kind of get it where it's like, it's insane that we got away with paying $59.99 every year for the last 25 years or whatever.
Right.
But from a consumer
it was like
side,
the only thing not affected by inflation.
And that's kind of where the whole like, oh, we're recession proof thing kind of comes from. See, we didn't have to change our prices. We didn't have to do, like everyone else, there's inflation, but not us, and you won't see like day-to-day inflation the way you will at the grocery store or whatever, but it's a small amount of money, like change wise, but it feels huge. And from a consumer side, yeah, it sucks. I've got used and very complacent to paying $59.99 or $64.94 after tax, and to see that price go up even $5 is like, who do you think you are? You think you can come in my house, kick my safe open, and take $5 out of my account willingly? No.
Take the food out of my kid's mouth.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sure, but like, I don't want to. I begrudgingly will do this.
Yeah, I will, of course, willingly pay $70 for that. But how dare you?
Like it.
And that's kind of where I'm at on it. It's like, I kind of, back in like 2015 when I was working retail, I was telling people then that the price hike was going to come eventually. I didn't know when, but that we were going to jump to $69.99 by the end of like, I really thought by the end of 2016 was when it was going to happen, because there were talks about it back then, specifically surrounding like NBA 2K and stuff, where they were talking, because then of course that game would nickel and dime their customers any way that they can, but
making an annual game, that's where it got me though.
Yeah,
because like I was more than willing to pay $75 for something as good as Horizon or whatever.
Yeah.
Especially how much playtime you get out of that. And one would argue you get more playtime, like I do, and a lot of people that play sports games,
right,
like get more playtime out of those sports games because it's just a never-ending sim. But like when you make an annual game and then all of a sudden we're just like, we're going to put out the same product that we did last year, but this time a little more expensive. How about that?
Yeah.
And then the next year, we're going to put out the same game.
Yeah.
A little more expensive. How about that? And it just was like, nah, man, you can't put out an annual product and have it be the same price as something that like I get of like a game of the year. That's my thinking of it. So people might argue with me, but like, you can't charge the same for the game of the year as you do like any sports game. Name a price.
And it's kind of interesting because like while
especially
all games,
when you add on the add-ons that they put in,
it's the games. Microtransactions that get me. For me, it's like, because you won't know a game of the year until you've played it or until it's out. So like, all games are priced equally, but not all games are made equally.
Right.
I don't get any value out of NBA 2K23 having Michael Jordan on its cover, or having new custom wristbands for you to have in the middle of your court. I don't care about that. That game doesn't matter to me. So for me, that game holds a value of $0.
Right.
But for someone who's a massive 2K fan or who sinks a lot of money into that My Team stuff, that game's worth $100. They would gladly pay $100. You should not be paying $100 for that.
No.
But they would gladly pay $100 for it. And, there are annual franchises that are made across multiple teams, like Call of Duty, where you get a different feeling product every year, even if it relatively is kind of the same. It has a core, but it's not the same game every time. But like, I agree. Like, there are games where like The Last of Us, God of War, Forza Horizon 5, like those games were all amazing. I would gladly pay $70 for them. because of how good they were and how much value I got out of it, how much they influenced my day-to-day life from an artistic standpoint. But for other people, it's not that easy. So it's not like,
it's not binary.
yeah,
I
and
understand
the
that, but
value
like
of it,
the annual price tag of it feels
yeah.
like a bill. Like, you know what I mean?
Sports
Like,
games, I feel like are in a league of their own where it's just like there's only so much you can do to that game where it still feels like that sport before
right.
it becomes not the same game anymore, or it becomes not that sport anymore. So
Like, yeah, before FIFA becomes like Rocket League or whatever.
and yeah, and then it's like, where do you put games that are multiplayer only? Because I don't really feel like I should have paid $59.99 or $79.99 or even $100.99 or whatever for Battlefield 2042, but I did, and it only contains multiplayer modes. There is no single player content to be had. So the game, as big as it is in terms of like the maps and weapons and they're kind of lacking on all that stuff. But as much as I've enjoyed my time with Battlefield 2042, especially after the new season, it does feel strange to me that Halo Infinite released free to play and sold it single player separately. Like I just can't get away from this feeling that like these price tags aren't evenly distributed the way that they should be.
Like I said earlier, money's all made up. It's all made up.
It's all made up. Prices are fake. The
Yeah.
thing is that the time sink for video games is so extensive that you just can't do what you do with movies and charge $8 a ticket for the game, because there's like, people are already upset when they pay $70, but the amount of money the amount of people who would need to go out and buy that experience versus the amount of games that come out every year, you would never earn that $8.
No.
Or people would never play your game, so there would be never any like continued interest in the IP that you created.
Look, we sound like conspiracy theorists. Like,
Yeah.
there's no gold backing our currency right now, but it's just like,
but there's not. It's all made up.
Look, hey, but
nothing is real.
Nothing is real. We're just saying that like video game industry isn't recession proof. Hence the price increase that kicked me in the forehead when I've had to buy a couple of games this year, and I was like, whoa, what? Like, it just out of nowhere. And I was like, telling my wife, looking at her finance, she's like, what do you spend $75 on? I was like, oh, I told you I was going to buy a game. She's like, when did they get to be $75? And I don't know. I just had to do the dumb guy shrug. I was like, but it really is. It's not recession proof. And especially with these systems that you're seeing, like this, like anything that you need components being a fancy word for just machines, anything that you need to put together, need computer chips for, especially, are in short supply. Like, there's a short supply of cars. So the fact that we sit here and think that like a video game developer would say, oh, we're recession proof with our systems. What? Like, what do you mean? Like, you can't buy a computer. Sense. What are you talking about?
And so, I mean, that's where it is for the industry. Congratulations, Xbox. I'm happy for you, but it's not really like a huge win across the board or anything like that. This isn't like normal. And look, console wars are stupid, so don't do that anyways.
Console even wars if you died in 2005.
You would think that, but go look at the comment section on any PlayStation or Xbox video ever. It's bad. Don't read the comments anywhere. But yeah, so that's just where we're at. Do you know what is recession proof though?
Your mental health.
Today's sponsor, Bell County Comic-Con.
Same thing.
Yeah, which is good for your mental health. That's not a legally binding statement. I'll be there this year. Once again, August 6th and 7th, I will be there emceeing alongside Pete Souza, Justin Sanchez, as well as our own Anna from up here, whose last name I can't remember. I'm sorry, Anna.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna cut that part out. Just look, I'll be there emceeing. That's all you really need to know. August 6th and 7th, Bell County Comic-Con. you can use promo code HARDWIRED to get a special discount on your ticket, or scan the QR code that's on your screen right now. It's right there. See it? It's right.
Yep.
It's right there. Okay, cool. So scan that. Lots of cool talent coming here. You'll get to meet the only April O'Neil, or the actress that played her anyways. She'll be there doing Q&As and stuff. There's going to be all kinds of vendors, lots of cool food places. You get a chance to check out some of the local kind of nerd and geekdom that's in the area. A lot of cool opportunities to get to come out and meet people, get to come out and meet me. We'll have our own booth, a Hardwired booth, where you can come out and meet me and Alex. We're excited to see you guys. You can ask us any questions you want, and well, within reason. And we hope to see you guys. It's, again, August 6th and 7th. You can find more information in the comments section or in the description down below. And I hope you guys can make it out. I don't think I have anything. What are you playing right now, Rod?
Well, it's funny because Robbie messaged me. He's like, "Hey, are you into F1?" And I said, "Man, I have tried so hard to get into that sport. All of my friends wake up early on Saturday and Sunday mornings to watch Europeans race real fast." And so I tried to ingratiate myself by playing F1 2021, which was a well-received game.
Yeah.
It's so hard. I tried playing that. It was insanely hard, and I put it down, didn't pick it back up. So Robbie was like, "I'll ask somebody else to review F22."
Yeah. We got a review code for F1 22, and I accepted it tentatively without really reading what it was. I didn't think about it as a sports game. We had just reviewed Grid Legends back in March, so I was like, "Oh, Codemaster, heck yeah, I'm down to. We'll review another one." Robbie loves racing games. I did not realize how hard that game was, or how much
hard,
detail and emphasis on things that they would put in it. So, good on them for creating a very realistic thing. But we can't review that. That's we don't have
F1's.
I'm sorry.
F1, for those of you listening, is not like NASCAR, where the NASCAR games are like, I'm just gonna go really fast around these, turns or whatever,
as fast as you can.
You have to brake. You can't touch anybody. You can't hit anyone, which is almost impossible in those games.
You got to pick your crew.
Yeah.
You got to tune your car beforehand, make sure everything stays correct.
It's insane. It's an insane experience, but yeah, it's not for me. So I tried playing that. I did it. I finally finished Last of Us 2 after a year and change.
How you feel about it?
It's a better game than Last of Us 1. It just is. I wasn't blown away by the story. It didn't hit me emotionally. It was just so dark when I played it at the they put it out in 2020 when everybody was having a bad time.
They didn't really have a choice. They'd already had to delay it twice at that point.
Yeah. And so, but it just is. I went back, I speed ran Last of Us, the first one, Last of Us, The Last of Us. And
The Last of Us.
Yeah. And it's still fun to play. Obviously, even the remastered version on PS5 is still fun to play. That's why I'm going to play the next remastered version.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to pay $70 for a
game. We were just talking about that. Yeah. But I played the second one. It's so much more immersive. The combat's so much more smooth. It's so much more detailed. It's incredible to look at. A bunch of poopy pants nerds tried to ruin it with the story and also homophobia. And I will not stand for that.
Nope.
It was incredible to play. The story is poignant, hard to get through. I like the first story more just because it was novel back then, and it kind of hit you in the feels. And
it's a more familiar, well-trodden ground. Surrogate daughter, surrogate father kind of situation. What would you be willing to do for your loved ones?
Right. This one's just revenge, and revenge.
It's not even just revenge. It's we're gonna eventually do a retrospective on these games before the remake comes out. But it's a lot more nuance to the story beats and stuff. No character is driven by just one thing.
Right.
Not really. Like there's so many factors weighing in on them. But yeah, we'll have to come back around to it and do a retrospective on it someday.
So I finally finished that game. Stuck with me a long time. It was really fun. But then I finally, because of PlayStation, like we were saying, got on to Guardians of the Galaxy, and I really have just blown through that game. I'm nearly complete with it. It's a lot of fun. I'm having a really good time with it. My review is it is button spammy, but fun to look at, fun to play, really funny dialogue. Characters yell at each other the entire time.
Yeah.
And if you're not ready for that, I like had to one time pause it and be like, okay, so this is what we're playing. And the music's fun. The details are fun. The combat is just cartoonish and fun, and just, you get through it. And some of the choice, like fun. Some of the choice models are actually really interesting too.
Yeah. There's things where you don't really think that, I didn't really feel like I was going to get like actual results from getting to choose any of the stuff in that game,
right.
But there are legitimately like side paths and quest lines and stuff that get locked off by you not doing certain things.
Yeah, and there's just no spoiler alert for a game that's been out like a year now. When you're in the, I wanted to say the upside down, but no, like when you're in the dream world or whatever with your mother, my game just ended. Like I accidentally pressed the wrong thing or let her kill me or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And my game just ended. And I was like, wait, is that supposed to happen? Yeah. So yeah, that was really interesting. I don't know what's next after Guardians of the Galaxy. I may retread some old games.
There's not really much on the horizon right now. We were talking about it the other day that
I may finally finish God of War, to be completely honest. I'm probably going to do that.
You should do that. You should just go back and finish. Look, if you run out of things to play in the modern, backlog it, because otherwise you'll never do those things. I'm going to do a replay of God of War, probably starting next month or maybe later this month. I don't really know what I'm excited for the rest of the year yet. There's a few things here and there that sound interesting, but we'll have to wait. But God of War is kind of now the only thing I've got my eyes firmly set on. As far as what I've been playing, it's been a lot of that.
What have you been playing?
I'm doing a review for DNF Duel, which should be up by the time this video is up. So if you want to check that out, that'll be in the description. It's fun 2.5D fighter game. It's pretty good. I liked it a lot. It lacks a little bit of the polish from some of the other games Arc System Works has done, but it's enjoyable. I think that everyone who wants a new fighter to play, it's $39.99 instead of that $79.99 or $69.99 price. So you should pick it up, give it a try. And then Robbie and I have been playing the ever-loving crap out of Battlefield as often as we can. And then I think the only other thing I've really been playing is like Mario Strikers, just occasionally beating Chris and Alex in that.
Yeah, we did say that I did, like a couple episodes ago, that my wife and I tried to play the Nintendo Super Smash Brothers remake, whatever that is, Brawlers or whatever. Oh, what a piece of crap. That game was not good. Anyway, so yeah, that was free to download. Did that. Not great.
But yeah, I mean, that's all I've been playing. I got nothing really on the horizon, nothing to really plug. Be sure to use that promo code HARDWIRED for your discount on your Bell County Comic Con ticket. I hope a lot of you guys come out and see us. It's going to be a ton of fun. It'll be the first time we've really been put on display anywhere other than on the internet, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And I haven't done public speaking in years, so we'll see how that goes.
That's all this is.
But hey, for Uplink, I've been Andrew Hamilton.
I've been Andrew Hamilton.
And we are Andrew Hamilton. Wait, I mean, Hardwired. Subscribe to Hardwired. Don't subscribe to Andrew Hamilton. Subscribe to Hardwired for all the latest news, reviews, and previews. And we'll catch you next time.